Well, good day. It's a while since I've been here. Just a couple of things in the paper that have caught my attention in the last few days, so I thought I'd just comment on them. First of all, in the Herald Sun, I read where the councils want a 30 km/h limit in many of the councils in and around Melbourne. And the reason for this is, of course, to reduce the road toll. Well, the first thing to say, of course, if you really want to reduce the road toll, it's very straightforward. You simply take all the cars off the road and reduce the speed limit to 0. There will be no road toll at this stage. But the minute that you allow cars to start moving, inevitably there will be a road toll. And this is a price that we pay for civilization and the use of the car. In the days of horses and carriages, there were people that were also killed by runaway horses and by being run over carriages, and the fact of the matter is that cars on the road lead to road tolls, and yes, it's tragic. What we've done over the years, we've reduced the road toll amazingly. I can recall when the population was about half of what it was today and the road toll was double. So I'd say we've reduced it by 25% through things such as seat belts and speed cameras and so forth, all of which have been terrifically successful. But I think there reaches a point where you have to say we accept the road toll as part of our life, and probably where we are now is about right. 50k in most of the council areas, 60k on the main roads, I think is a reasonable trade-off. If we go down to 30k, yes, we will save lives. On the other hand, there will be a number of disadvantages to the 30k limit, including reduced efficiency and reduced operation of our society. Sometimes, and we never seem to be prepared to do this, you simply have to accept that lives will be lost as a result of the decisions that we make. I think it's absolute load of nonsense to take it down to 30k. And yes, I've had many friends who have died as a result of car accidents. I know what they mean. But I think we simply have to accept that that is the case. Life is a gamble, and this is one of the realities of life. Turning over the page. Oh boy, allies. Pupils sue over school bullying. The first thing I generally say is, suck it up, come on. The bullying's no worse than it was when I was a kid or when my kids were kids. What's the difference is the preciousness of the parents these days. Get used to boys being boys. Boys will fight, boys will play rough and tumble. Now, let's have a little look. Here it says, here's a girl was verbally abused, being called a feral and a dog. So what's she doing? She's suing the education department, that's you and I, for the money because she was called a feral and a dog. Oh boy, come on. Get used to it, suck it up. If that's the worst that ever happens to her, she's having a pretty easy life indeed. Some of the other kids have had tougher times than that. One here, her scientific calculator was destroyed, red paint poured over her clothes and pencil case, and her school books were torn to shreds. Well, certainly I can recall as a lad doing some pretty evil things and having pretty evil things done to me as well. Suck it up and get over it. It's a whole part of growing up. So on the other hand, there have been incidents that are worse, and quite possibly the kids are more violent these days. They watch a lot of television, they play a lot of computer games that are violent, but I think the parents have to get over it too. Stop being so bloody precious. Let the kids get out and be a part of life. So there's a couple of points for comment. Now I'll just go and grab the other half of the paper and we'll see what goodies are here today. Oh, this is a gem. This is a gem. I'd recommend this. This is an article by Bettina Art. I've got a lot of time for Bettina Art. She actually understands where men are coming from. And here's an article here. I think we can see it, Lust for Life. in, of all things, the age. You know my opinion of the age, but this is an absolutely brilliant article indeed. It gives a good insight into what make men tick, and it gives a good insight into some of these strange things that women believe about men. Well, I'll have to come back and comment more about this, because there's some wonderful lines in here indeed. One of the ones that they do mention is, she says that monogamy or faithfulness shouldn't be looked at as virginity, in the sense that once it's lost, but rather as someone who's a drunkard, goes off the wagon and occasionally manages to have a drink or two, but then goes back on the wagon instead. So I think that I'm going to read this and comment on this in more detail in the future. It's an absolute gem of an article. It's in the Sunday Age of August the 21st, and I would thoroughly recommend it indeed. Oh, and finally, this is also coming from the Age of Tuesday. The wine buffs. I've mentioned about wine buffs before, but fair dinkum, some of the comments they make here are a great load of nonsense. Squitchy Elaine Fume Blanc, a Yarra Valley Sauv Blanc with a slight French accent. Different from the popular sweet style fruits, nutty, yeasty and earthy threads carry it along a savoury path, clean and quietly complex. Have you ever heard so much nonsense in all your life, for crying out loud? Black cherry and spice aromas, delicious sarsaparilla-like savoury flavours, good texture and fine balanced tannins. What a load of crap. They write up themselves, these critics. So I'll come back to Lustful Life. Let me just see if I can find... here we go. You can have strict... this is a comment from a fellow that she quotes, saying you can have strict monogamy or low libido, ladies, but you can't have both. So just think about that. I don't think many women accept that. It's the old story. Women want men to be like women, but they want to be like men. It's one of the great sadnesses of women. In any case, this is a rambling exercise, so that'll be for the moment. We'll close it.